Serenity, you rescued me from the storms I used to chase. I found your voice in quiet waves. In stillness I found grace. No more chains and no more plea. I am who I'm meant to be. At last I breathe serenity.
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday.
Hi. Happy Friday
Alpha,
indeed.
what's up, man? You mug robbing banks, or what are you doing over there, brother?
Hey, we're not allowed to talk about the bank robbing, okay? That's like confidential information, okay? We got to
My
keep
bad.
that down, though. You see, the thing is, I joined a cult. So in this cult, we have this thing where we're not allowed to show our full faces.
You know, that's good, because that kind of fits with our topic tonight, because we're going to be talking about the secrets of social cults and crypto cabals, because, man, as the markets are heating up, as we're heading in the altcoin season, that kind of stuff's going to come around again. So that is why our topic is here, and Alpha is demonstrating exactly what it's like. So, Alpha, you just got moved to the sketchy list. Sorry, but yeah. Now we're going to question
It's not
everything.
that sketchy, okay? It's not that sketchy. It's just,
Looks sketchy.
you know,
I don't know.
listen,
What do you...
all you need is to see a person's eyes. But I know you can't see mine because of this and all, but you know, that's all you need.
And now it's reflecting and you're squinting and your hair's... We can't see nothing, man. That's okay. I love it. Let's see. I'm an undercover agent. I like that. So we need to get his nut. He's joined Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
You
I
see?
love it.
I cracked the
Definitely a form
code.
of... It is. I agree, Nexus. It's a form of a cult. Definitely. But hey, want to say welcome back. As you know, we're here every Friday. Get you up to date on what's going on in the crypto space, but also discuss a little bit of topic conversation, sometimes debate, sometimes science fiction. You never know what's going to be. That's why it's kind of freaky, because it can go anywhere. So I want to say, hey,
mean-
Nexus...
I mean,
Yeah, you're
that's
like the
how we
example.
started.
Right. And I wear specials for today's message because as it heats up, yeah, this is what our brain does. Yeah, we take our brain out and we leave it on the table when we start investing in this DeFi. Yeah, we're going to go down that rabbit hole in a second. But first, let's cover a little bit of the crypto news, what's going down. But I want to say hi to Nexus. Thanks for joining us tonight, buddy. Great to have you. Wild Angel, how you doing? He really does. Yeah, he looks creepy, doesn't he? It's not just me. So, Alpha, my man, what is your number one top of the food chain crypto news that has occurred this week for you?
Oh, number one. Damn, that's
Eh.
like
Time's up.
that's terrible. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
I
to me?
won't do that. But
Oh,
I will say,
actually,
Oh, you got some?
Unitrade
Okay.
releases this cool little game. I think it's 5 games where you have to try to beat the Unibot kind of thing, the Flashbots thing. It's a fun little thing. They said like if you beat all 5, they'll follow you back. So I don't know. I haven't beaten it. I beat like 3, which is
they'll follow
my
you
goodness,
back.
it's-
That sounds like a definite social cult right there, buddy.
you see what I mean? Like we just
Yeah.
hitting all the
Come
all
perform
the,
these
all the
tasks and
marks
we will
here.
give you a follow. Getting creepy. Well, one thing you don't have to worry about, and that is Bitcoin. And Alpha's gone. See, there he goes. They just yanked his plug. Apparently, they didn't follow him back. They just disconnect him. But yes, Bitcoin hit an new all-time high this week, guys. $123,165. Pretty damn good. And as you guys know, we've talked about this several times. It ain't over yet. This is just in the middle of the bull market. But a lot of things are happening right now because we're seeing it take a little bit of pullback, and now people start talking about altcoin season. Now, if you don't know what altcoin season is, or this is your first time being through the cycle, we're going to break that down a little bit here. But I can tell you that there has been more social searches for the term altcoin at the highest level since 2021. So make no mistake, we are definitely right there. And that's when you start seeing your Ethereum, your Avalanche, your Polygon, all the different coins that are not Bitcoin. Some people call Ethereum. Yes, no, it's a debate. We won't get into that. But that's when all those really start pumping. Now, I hope a lot of you have been listening over the last year because we've talked about a lot of these coins. and saying, hey, start doing your dollar cost averaging. Use your rules of solvency we taught in Rags to Riches to make sure that you have a nice bag when the season comes about, because it's about to come about. So, Alpha, I'm curious, what is your number one altcoin?
ETH.
I like this.
I definitely say ETH.
ETH. Okay, so you qualify ETH as an altcoin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like, isn't technically everything besides Bitcoin an altcoin? Because Bitcoin is like, the first, and then everything else is alt. I don't know. At least that's how it is to me.
Depends on who you ask. Some people say it is. Some say it isn't. Yeah, tomato. It's it's really
it's
about
the
your
one
personal
that
perspective.
started all altcoins, so clearly it has to be the king of all alts.
But then again, if you go back in history, they say Bitcoin wasn't the very first cryptocurrency. So, yeah, that's a whole different history lesson. We get into that. But, see, Wildane says Ethereum hit 4,400. Yes, it did. Yeah, ETH's doing good. A lot of the alts are doing good. And Nexus says altcoins are colloquial in crypto overall tends to refer to not a big cap. But these days, among TradeFi gooners coming in, it most accurately describes anything that isn't Bitcoin. Man, that's a great definition there, Nexus. Thanks, buddy. And you're absolutely right. And Walden says SheFi teaches everything that is not Bitcoin is an altcoin. And that's fair too. I mean, there's a lot of different ways people break it down. There's nothing really in the, in the dictionary or anything like that saying this is an altcoin, this is not. It really depends on your perception. But either way, anything not Bitcoin has been doing very, very well. So yeah, we've seen ETH go up. We've seen a lot of things. The native blockchain tokens, we called them blue chips during Rags to Riches. Most of those are doing well. So I hope over the last 6-8 months, you guys have been stockpiling those and you're enjoying this climb. And Excess, I speak both languages fluently. I'm here to explain them both. Good. We got the geek and we got the accurate. I'll take the geek version. So now something else really... Yeah. Hey, I'm proud to be a geek. I got no problem with that. Now, a little piece of good news is anybody who lost money in FTX, they are going to start distributing $1.9 billion to creditors on September 30th. Now, who actually gets the first payment out or who's going to get what distribution, I really don't know. But just the fact that creditors are going to get something out of that whole chaos, that's some good news. It means that somebody had to step up and fork out some money and try to set things right. Is it going to set it totally right? No. But it's good to see that something is being done to try to remedy that situation. If they both think each other is insane, so it balances out. Yeah, I'm good with that. That depends on which goober you're talking to. We're all a bunch of goobers. I gotta turn that background down just a hair. It's weird not seeing you on screen, Alpha. Man, you can do the hide and seek thing. That's okay.
I'm coming back on, so just give me a second.
Okay, just making sure. I feel like I'm talking to myself up here, guys.
Got a little technical difficulty, that's all.
See, you scared him off with a mouse. That's what did it. So, guys, I'd love to hear, what is your number one altcoin of choice for this upcoming altcoin season? Or top 3. Take your pick. Share them in the chat. Let's discuss them. If you have any questions, toss them out there. But I would love to get your opinion, because who knows? Maybe you're going to shine some light on some new altcoins that we aren't aware of. Maybe we need to go look at. It says, I'm going to make Ice Agent Alpha Cruz action figures now. I like that. And Waldane says, AVAX and XRP. And she's got a lot of that from me. And yes, I think both of those are great. I love what AVAX has been building. And I think XRP has a lot of potential for the long-term game. Am I going to get millionaire overnight? No. But then again, these aren't overnight plays. That's what we're looking at. That's when the DeFi cycle comes up here in the next 3 to 4 months, something like that. That's the millionaire casino gambling. Altcoins are still a great long-term hold. You just got to know how to play them. Got to be prepared for an exit strategy. Now, we talked a lot about that in Rags to Riches. Alpha's gone. Now I'm solo. Okay, you guys are stuck with me and nobody else. Sorry. And so I would buy those. Absolutely. Oh, okay, those are my comments. Okay. I like what Avalanches have rolled. They do. And we've heard a lot in the news how Avalanche has put in, you've got the, real estate in New Jersey. They've got the deeds on the Avalanche blockchain. You've got the DMV records in California that are on the Avalanche blockchain. So I'm kind of liking those. And Nexus says XRP is too hot. Time to buy was 0.3. Absolutely, it was. And I know a few people like Hope Giver got herself some XRP back when it was 53 cents. Great time to get into it. And I agree, it is pretty hot right now. If you're looking for some major gains, don't think it's going to happen. But that's where we're going to look at the social media aspect, which kind of brings us to the topic tonight. So we're going to be getting into that. AVAX still has a lot of room to run in contrast to how XRP is. I prefer utility token overall. Absolutely, Nexus. Utility is key. We're going to talk about that too. Now, couple things are making what. Jeez, here we go again. The words are going to be tough tonight. So, a couple things I want to make you aware of. And if you're part of the Down Home Crypto Discord, you probably already saw these announcements. But if not, and if you have been following me for a while, maybe you got into the Star Power program. Now, if you've gotten into Star Power, then you probably are. Hey, how about I share my screen? That would probably make more sense, wouldn't it? Let's do that. There we go. Add to stage. There we go. Yeah, see, Alpha broke things. You're creeping me out, Alpha. This is what's going on. I like the pink background, though. If you do have a Star Power plug, and you have either been running your Nova or your devices, you must claim your T-Star tokens before midnight on August 18th UTC, because that's when they're going to stop it, and they're going to get ready for the token generation event. Now, if you don't claim your T-Stars tokens before that date, those T-Stars will be forfeit. So, really important. Open up your Star Power app, go into it, and here's a screenshot of mine. And as you can see on mine, I've earned with my 3 Star Power plugs 7,113 T-Star tokens. But I have gone through and I have claimed them all. So open up your app, go down to the personal, and make sure you claim your T-Star tokens before the 18th, which is, what, 2 days away? So, yes, I dropped my brain.
Let's hope for a good TG this time around, not another Rainmaker.
You're super, super quiet there, Alpha. You probably broke something. You get the wrong mic up?
Yeah.
Okay, that would do it.
Good now.
There you go. That's better. That's better.
What's wrong, Mike? I say, let's hope it's not another Rainmaker TG.
Right. Yeah, I'm really hoping. I'm hoping because we do have skin in the game, because we did buy these devices and get them set up, that the TGE will be better. And guys, I got to be honest with you. I have been struggling to try to make that Rainmaker video on how to go through and claim and what to do, because I go in their Discord and they still have problems with people doing the claims. They still have people in there that are just pissed, and I don't blame them. I mean, when my app tells me I have $2,000 coming in, and when it comes to the TG event says, oh, you have $110, we're going to give you 25% over the next 4 months. I'm like, wait a minute. So you cut me down by 90%, and you say I can't get it for a 4-month time frame. When did the rules change? So I'm struggling with that video, but yeah, you're right, Alf. I hope it's not something like that.
Yeah, we can't have a heartbroken twice in a row.
No. That would be bad. That would be bad. Now, wow, I just totally lost my notes again. I gotta stop losing my notes. So yes, if you are part of if you do have any Star Power devices, make sure to do your claim, get prepped for that TGE. The exact date, I don't know, but they did announce the cutoff. So make sure you got that covered. Now, something else to be aware of is I just got a great afternoon on, I think it was Tuesday, wasn't it, Alpha?
Yeah. Monday, Tuesday?
I don't know.
Technically, it was Tuesday for me, Monday for various. I don't know.
It was Monday for me then, too.
Monday for you.
So it was Monday.
It's still Monday for you.
Yeah. So I got invited to go join the Monstra universe for their second anniversary or second birthday party. What is that? Second anniversary or I don't know.
It was a second anniversary birthday bash, whatever. It's all the
there you
words
go. That
in
sounds
one,
good.
okay?
All the words in one. And so I got to hang with some great people. Of course, it was hosted by Alpha Cruz, who is a phenomenal moderator and did a great job. Got to hang out with Tilting Shock, various Hawkeyes, JK, AJ, even Gabo stopped in. So it was a great time. Got a lot of information, and we had a great conversation. Now, if you guys didn't get to join in that, definitely go back and watch the video, because there was some sneaky alpha slipped in there on some different things. But it was all around just a great chat. We talked about gaming, we talked about DeFi, talked about everything that's coming up in the future. So you might get some nice little pearls of wisdom in there. Now, I've been part of Monstros forever. But I keep it on the down low. It's not something that I've done a whole lot of promotion on, nor a lot of videos on, because it's not a get rich, not what a lot of people want to talk about, excitement. But that's where it really kind of transitions into the topic tonight, because I don't talk about anything I'm not personally vested in. Let me say that again. I will not do anything unless I'm personally vested. Not because it was given to me. Not because somebody said, hey, we'll pay you to talk about this. This goes into that whole cult topic we're talking about. But I want to remind you guys that everything that I've ever shared, I'm part of. And I want to share some of this information with you. In fact, after that birthday party, or actually just before that birthday party, I went and got my very first Pokes NFT. Pokes investment with Monstra.
Yeah.
So you only talk about cults you buy. Got it. Yes. These are the only cults I sold my soul to. Yeah. But yeah, I've been running a farms since December of 2022 of 2024. I've run a Degens since December 23rd, and I just picked up a new Pokes. So I got it on auto compounding, and I'm rolling the dice. This is gamble money, but that's what's really important that we need to talk about tonight is when you go into this DeFi stuff, you've got to realize this is not your main portfolio. This is play money. If it makes you money, awesome. If it doesn't, that's okay. You knew that going into it. So be prepared for that.
but wait, my whole portfolio is DeFi. Like I like what? What am I supposed
Say
to
it
do?
again, you lost me.
My whole portfolio is DeFi because that's all I can afford.
Oh, so you're just a total degenerate. Okay, that's what you say. Okay, so Alpha has no future. He's just gambling everything. Wow. I hope your fiance realizes that you have a serious gambling problem and you seek counseling.
Look, this DeFi has managed to get me through some tough spots. Okay, you know, YOLO. Exactly. You only live once, and most of the money I get is from DeFi. So I might as well just throw it back into DeFi and be like, it's monopoly money anyway.
And you know, that's a great way to look at it. And, but that's one of those things that I want to make you guys aware of. And I know Alpha's the same way is, we're the type of people will not get paid to talk about something if we don't have skin in the game. And a lot of the things that I've shared with you guys come from personal experience. So a lot of this conversation tonight will come from that. But I want to give you just a little bit of peek here to remind you what's going down. So we're going to go full. I'm going to go Jumbotron here for a sec, Alpha. There you go. So, all the free to earn stuff I share in Down Home Crypto. See if I can slide this out here so you see. I can't quite. Yes, I can. There you go. So literally, I have a whole nother computer that sits here, and he runs all those different free to earn opportunities so that I am in the same game with you. I'm paying the power bill. I'm trying to mine it. I'm running all the different things just like you are. But on top of that, just like you guys see in the background here, oops, we've got our Aether Edge back in the corner. Whoa, did I just freeze?
You did.
I did, okay.
You're back.
So we've got our Aether Edge back in the corner. We've had our Aware elements. We've got our Match X Pros lying around that I can't get to work. We've got our Neo miners we lost money on. We've got all this stuff, so we're talking from real world experience. So when we're going through this tonight, please understand, this is not because we got paid to talk good or bad about these different projects. It's because we live this journey, just like you do. And we're going to share with you the best information we can.
Yeah, and I'm very involved with Monstra, so it's kind of like, anything I say is biased technically. I'm just putting it out there. Because I'm obviously going to speak good about Monstra, even though multiple times in private chat I've been like, Peter's, but what about this? And given long ass explanation, I was just like, damn, I did not expect that much explanation. But I'm happy with it. I'm glad to get this explanation.
And you sometimes you got to get the hard truth. And one person I know never pulls punches, BTK. How you doing, brother? Good to see you, my man. That's what I love about the Down Home Crypto community. We've got a whole slew of people that will always be honest and direct with you. They'll answer your questions. Whether you like the answer or not, well, sorry to say, we're just going to tell you what we think and what our experiences are. And so, yes, I agree, Alpha. Cults are always a fun conversation. And that's exactly what we're talking about tonight, because we are going to be breaking down the concept of social cults. And I just lost the term. Crypto cabals. I know it sounds crazy, but believe it or not, they are everywhere. And that's where you really got to watch people like your moderators. That guy.
What?
He looks sketchy, doesn't he? Their job is to get you hyped up and believe that everything the moderators and the team say are accurate. They're almost religious. Like, hey, the team has spoken. It will be this way. Some projects are like,
so
you are a terrible mod. You are.
Because I don't do that. Like, someone will ask a question and be like, oh, but isn't there a better option? But like, I mean, probably. That's not my thing. Sure, you could go do it yourself and make more money, but
right.
I mean, that's up to you, I guess.
And that's a good thing. And before we start on this topic, so I'm curious, is there anything else you had, Alpha, before we dive into the craziness?
I did see Base retweeted some new thing. I think it was called Dream Space or whatever. Apparently, it's a way to use AI slop to create on-chain applications. Because that's exactly what we needed. Just go AI generate a new application. That's exactly what we needed. Like, why didn't I think of that? Obviously, that's what we needed.
Apparently, it's what we needed. Yeah, didn't you know that? That's crazy. Now, one person I know who has learned a lot about Base is Wild Angel. You've been, how you doing, dear?
Hi, how's it going? Hi, Alpha.
Going good.
You look like a freaking either creepy stalker or ICE agent or something.
He's a stalker in the red light district. Yeah, that's what it
There
is.
we go.
Whoa. Okay.
It just got creepier.
Right?
All the pink lights. It kind of fit.
Right?
Wait, that should make it red. Let's make it red. Perfect.
There you go. See, perfect. Yeah. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. So, Wild Angel, how's your week been going, dear?
It's been kind of crazy, but I'm glad it's over. Not crazy in a bad way, just crazy as in I've had more meetings this week than I've had in 6 months.
You got in trouble, huh?
No, actually, they were trying to get us into some new systems at work and crunching a lot of numbers and creating spreadsheets and getting things ready to go to our director for approval. And yeah, it'd be nice if no more 15-minute page refreshes.
That would be nice. That makes life challenging. I mean, I can't deal with 15 seconds for a page refresh. I don't know how you do 15 minutes.
I tried to work remote last week for half a day and I hit enter. 15 minutes later, this program was ready for my next. I'm sure you heard me out there swearing at it.
Oh, yeah. It was fun.
15 minutes. What?
Max at peak time, and in the office, we get about a 3-minute page refresh. So
that's really insane.
Like,
what?
3 minutes for anything is stupid.
Wait. It is. But that's the difference between a server-based system and a cloud-based system. Is that bringing the cloud is closer to us, so it's closer to that edge compute.
Honestly, anything that
on the state server would be edge, but it's not.
Right, but anything in today's time frame, if you click a button and you have to wait 3 minutes for anything, you're going out of business. No, that doesn't fly. Not 2025.
The new system, that's why they're upgrading to the cloud-based version. They want everybody on it, is because I watched him in the demos and literally click, boom. I mean, it was as fast as he could click. Maybe about a 5-second, but I'm like, okay, I'm off for that. Let's go.
Right.
I mean,
3 to 5 seconds, that's reasonable. Good.
Half of it is a skill issue because I've run servers, so I've worked at a school and they have their own servers. At least the schools around here are all underwritten by this company called Schools IT. So they equip all the schools with a school lab, and that includes a server. So I've set those up, or at least fixed it a lot of the time because people mess things up and then someone has to go and make it right. And those things are instant, like all the PCs literally run on the server. So it's like we managed to get it to have zero latency. Anyone can just log in immediately. If there's an issue, it's like maybe a 5-minute fix. So yeah, they probably just have a really old server.
Unfortunately, we have our entire state running on this one server for the state government. All runs on. Oh, and this is the new server. A year ago in the office, we would have a 5 to 10 minute page refresh in office. They moved
have like a reel-to-reel back there or what? That's like 1970s.
You know, I'm thinking, but we're really hoping we'll get the new system approved.
I hope so.
and
So-
be able to get it going. So, but that's been my big project this week, and playing in Shi-Fi, and I haven't gotten back to the Developers Academy this week. 'Cause I've had other stuff going on.
Okay,
I really
that's
need to go back and watch more Shi-Fi videos because I'm a little behind. And well, when I'm trying to do it at work and listen to it at the same time, my focus is split. So I need to watch them.
We have 15 minutes in between every time you page refresh, so it's okay.
Yeah.
That's only when I'm working remote. It's 3 minutes in office.
Okay, so you do it in
But,
3-minute blocks. That should go pretty quick.
Yeah. I want to go back and watch some more about Midnight and what Midnight is trying to do with privacy. Still meeting regulation, but maintaining privacy. And I want to see
Absolutely.
more about what they're doing. Thanks, Nexus. I appreciate that.
And yeah, that's great advice, Nexus.
so-
Like saying, take your time. It's best you focus on this sort of thing. We don't want you getting in trouble in the future because of that. But the
Yeah.
latency struggle remains real. And
Right.
you know, you're right. People very much do not take their time. They rush through things, whether it's white papers or research or whatever, and they just read the highlights that they want you to see, and they say, yes, invest. And next thing you know, 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, I'm broke.
Oh no, this is actually the one we're really looking at. Is one we're currently using, but they're going from a server based to a cloud based. So there's a lot of upgrades, and we've really had our hands in it, and checking it out, and things about reporting and all these other functionality improvements. And so it's not something, it was just like overnight, oh, yep, they're doing this, we're going to do this too. No. Plus their customer service is insanely fast. I have a problem,
good
they've
sign.
got it fixed same day. So,
I like that.
you know, customer service is key. If you can't fix your own stuff,
Right.
you shouldn't be building the stuff.
This is true. And that goes with everything, whether
so-
it's servers, it's crypto, it's project. Yeah, that's a big thing. And one person that deals with customer service a lot is Mr. Nexus himself. How you doing, brother?
Hi, Nexus.
Nexus is the customer service.
I did indeed.
Hello,
I was
Nexus.
in service for many years. Great to be
Are
here.
you there? Are you
Good to have you, brother.
muted or something?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So how's your week been, buddy?
Oh, my week. Oh, exciting! I've learned about evil USB cables sold on Temu. I've learned about all sorts of wild on-chain chicanery, and most importantly, I've actually spent the better chunk of this week trying to research the behavior and modus operandi of crypto cabals.
Ooh. So you're right up the alley for tonight's topic. This is going to be good. I like this.
Yeah, this is not an easy topic either because they don't all work exactly the same. They don't all have the same sort of layout. They don't all have the same sort of organizational structure or need the same numbers of people to do the same numbers of things. There's a lot of variation, and almost all of them work differently. But many of them you already know, we've already heard of them, and we all already dislike them.
Right.
Probably one of the first crypto cabals that I can name was Alameda Research and Associates.
That's the name sounds vaguely familiar.
Oh yeah. The history of this.
Never heard of it.
Oh, but a definition. What is a cabal? Specifically, a crypto cabal. Yeah. So
Yes,
cabal.
please.
The etymology of the term cabal actually goes back several hundreds of years. It's typically used to reference any kind of secret society that has some sort of goal that is not publicly known or not publicly disclosed. But the existence of the secret society tends to be common knowledge, and their activities tend to be quite public because people who are in it, at least historically, are very prestigious and very rich. So from this, you can actually draw a direct through line to the evolution of Greek secret social college fraternity. And from there, there's a lot of behavioral similarity in between the way you get inducted into a internet cabal many of which are focused on money, on the accruance of well capacity. And the differences between, say, a Greek social secret college fraternity, a money-making fraternity, and a mafia. Because this is where there actually becomes to be a lot of Venn diagram overlap.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, see, in Greek secret social college fraternities, you typically will have 4 classes of persons representing each year of being in college for 4 years. And the seniors are considered the upper echelon, you know, they're the big boys, they've been in it the longest. And then you have the freshmen who just got here, they've been there the least. And then you have the pledges, the people who aspire to be inside of the in-group. And all of this gets combined together in internet communities with crypto wallets representing sort of, okay, well, who was early? Okay, well, who was late? Okay, well, how much did each individual person spend? And then you've got different sort of definitions of, okay, well, who's an insider? Who's a whale, right? Those would be your crypto college seniors. And then who's, you know, the shrimp, who's the plebs, who just got here? Well, those are your freshmen and your pledges. So there's a lot of Venn diagram overlap between this, and it actually ends up being as immature as a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds trying to run a political organization could be, as you can imagine. And that's how bad it is in college. Now just imagine it all online with the same age group of people. Like, this is going to get ridiculous. And what this tends to result in is certain high-level founders of really interesting or really innovative or really big projects that saw a huge run. Those folks will become the kings of this new little kingdom. And then from there, they will have court. Right? And that's where the cabal comes to play. See, crypto cabals tend to be the inside group surrounding a cult of personality around one or a handful of founders. And their behavior then revolves around not only evangelizing this founder as being the second coming of computer science Jesus, but also the sheer unabashed ability of said founder to, or founders, to inflate your bags and mystically make the number go up.
Exactly. And, you know, this sounds very technical to a lot of you out there watching, and, you know, a lot of people are like, wait, what are they even talking about? But believe it or not, this is actually totally normal, especially in the DeFi space. We see this all the time. And that's one reason why I wanted to bring this topic out tonight, because as we're going in the altcoin season, we know the DeFi projects are coming right after that. They're going to heat up. We've seen a few lately where, yes, just like Nexus is talking, that you're going to have community and moderators that they're going to be running interference. You start asking questions. You start releasing what they call FUD, you know, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and ask questions, the hard questions that you should get answers to. And now all of a sudden you're a problem child. Why is that? Because they're trying to build that positivity. It's like, oh, look, we're so amazing. Look at us. Nobody should say anything bad about us. And when you do, you're evicted or ejected because they don't want the truth to be known. And so a lot of these practices are pretty normal. Now, I'm going to call a few of us out here because Alpha Cruise, you're a moderator on multiple Discords, some that are financial platforms. And we'll take Monstras, for example, because it is a financial platform. So I'm going to ask you straight up, if somebody comes and says, hey, this looks like a scam, how do you personally deal with them, bud?
I say, okay, what about it looks like a scam? Because I'm not going to say, oh, no, you're lying or you're talking nonsense. I want to know, okay, what do you see that looks like a scam? And then we'll take it from there. Because whatever the person says, then I can see, okay, I can see why you'd think that or why you'd say that. Okay, now we can discuss from there, because there's no point in me being like, yeah, no, you're just talking nonsense. You have no clue what you're talking about, instead of taking in what they're saying, understanding why they said that, and then going from there. And that's kind of something that's very big about Monstra. It's like, it's not just us moderators. All of the team also are very like that, especially Various. That man has had an AMA and gone back, spent an hour replying to every question that was asked during the AMA that was missed.
Cool.
Right.
Literally a whole hour.
Yeah, I've been there. I've seen it happen. And, that's why I'm picking on you right off the bat, Alpha, because, I'm sure a lot of us here have experienced that situation. You go into Discord and you start saying, hey, these numbers don't make sense. Or this doesn't make sense. How is this even possible? There's no realistic way you can give me 2% per day forever. It's like, oh, yeah, we can do it. I mean, that's just definition of scam. It's not going to happen.
My trading bot is absolutely not good, Mr. Serenity. Boy, no!
Watch me do it. And for the first 2 weeks, it does great. And then, oops, well, hey, guess what? It wrecked. And we've seen projects do that time and time again. And, so it's really interesting how you would handle that, Alpha, because I've been in several Discords that they don't, or Telegram groups, X's, Spaces, all that. They immediately attack me because I'm asking hard questions. I'm like, okay, I can even be very polite. It's like, okay, I dealt with this with Moonchain, as I shared with this a few weeks ago on the stream and in the Discord. Asked some very direct questions, and I spun them into a circle where they couldn't answer right because they never gave a good answer. So if they said yes, then they were doing this. If they said no, they were doing this. It was a double-edged sword. And finally, they just stopped talking to me. It's like, no. And people were getting banned left and right for asking these hard questions. So I was really curious. Now, of course, Nexus, you deal with the opposite side. You deal with a lot with when this shit goes wrong, when the pieces hit the fan and everything's just screwed up. Now you're trying to answer the question of how could this possibly happen? So, what have you seen lately?
Well, I've seen all of that and more. There's projects associated with even like big XRP, who we were talking about earlier in the chat. There's been projects associated with XRP that are known for banning anyone who talks about any other asset or opportunity, let alone like critically discusses the product offering that the Discord is supposed to play support for. Now, getting ejected from a Discord server because you have hard questions, or a Telegram chat because you asked questions about a project or suggested something or other thing, this is an incredibly common practice. And if you ask me, this is bad practice. This is bad praxis. This is it's not going to help build your business. It's not going to help your marketing. And it's definitely not going to inspire investment if your first instinct and training response to criticism is to have your team and your moderators eject all of your critics from the discussion in your official moderated spaces. No, your moderator's job is actually supposed to be to facilitate that discussion, but civilly. It's supposed to make sure that Wild Angel and I can talk about the price of XRP without Wild Angel saying, oh, you deserve to go kill yourself in Minecraft for saying bad things about Ripple. Right? The conversation needs to occur, but without the hostility and the shaming and the blaming and all of the nasty, the personal attacks and the nastiness that comes with it. Now, when we're talking about investments and we're talking about money, especially on the internet, everyone's expectations are way blown out of proportion. So because the expectations are blown out of proportion, so too is going to be the personal emotional investment in the asset, in the protocol, in the system, and also the discussion and any criticism surrounding it. So if you are attacked by a moderator or banned by a moderator for asking a question in a community, that's not your fault because you asked a question or you offended the community or you offended the moderator. No, what happened was the question was uncomfortable and the moderator is strongly invested in the business and thus used their powers and exercised their powers in order to censor you in the official business space, in order to prevent that feeling, that thought, that emotion that they had as an investor in this business, being asked a hard question they cannot answer. Forget the fact that they are an agent of the business or fiduciarily obligated to the business as some sort of team member or employee or volunteer. Almost any of that is sort of ancillary. Like, what it comes first is always my investment in this business. And that's what the moderators tend to be thinking when they ban you. is,
Right.
oh, that's bad for my business. I don't want this feeling spreading. I'm going to kick this person out and ban them and delete the message. That way, the cult remains ironclad, that we can sort of keep any externality of information out of my bubble because it's harmful to the continual pumping of the bag.
Exactly. Now, of course, we're excluding the fact if you come in cussing and swearing and threatening somebody in Discord and you are starting the fight, that you got to be respectful when you do this. But and I've seen people go both ways. Next, like you're talking about, I've seen people walk in, their bags are down, they're like, "This is a scam, it's a thief," and it's like every other word is profanity. It's like, okay,
at which point the moderator does their job and exercise their just powers, because again, they're trying to protect the civility of the situation, not necessarily the investment of the situation.
Exactly. So that is the caveat. Please, when you go in and ask these hard questions, be respectful about it. You can be passionate, you can be even forceful and direct, just not threatening to the point you are becoming hostile or toxic to the community, because then you are the problem. But Wild Angel, I'm curious. Now, you haven't delved a whole lot into the DeFi space. You've been in a few Discords here and there, and but what has been your experience, good and bad, that you've run across in these different Discord communities?
Most of my experience has been through you and listening to you talk about what's going on. I don't have a good experience with Discord at all, unless it's Down Home Crypto. I have tried to ask even simple questions just for basic understanding and don't get a response at all, or get condescending responses. And it's new people that they should be trying to get on board instead of shoving them away. And so I actually do very little communication outside of Down Home Crypto with any project. I was actually really impressed in SheFi on Thursday. We had one of the matcha founders in doing a presentation for us. And I raised my hand nice and polite. And I was the first one I got to ask my question. And he took the time to explain it. And he took the time to give me an answer. And he was still there at almost 10 o'clock when our Q&A was over at 9:30. He was still there answering questions.
Nice.
And so those are the kind of people I want to talk with. I don't want to talk to a moderator because most of them are freaking Nazis about their project. So
that's fighting words.
Alpha doesn't count. Down Home Crypto doesn't count because our moderators are not like that.
Right. We can be. If you push the line, we can be. But yeah, we try not to.
Right. But
we
to everybody, no. Right. When you've been warned, say, hey, that's not appropriate or whatever. And then the moderator exercises their hammer power. I mean, got it. But when I go into a Discord, I've gone into deep and tried to ask questions. Never got a response.
Really? Not even from the members?
Not even one. No. It's like I didn't exist. And it was a simple question. I can't remember it, but at the time, it was a very simple question. Pillars had the same problem with pillars. Almost pretty much every Discord I have tried to step up and ask a question, I have been ignored or shut down.
I don't mean to sound like I'm singing praises here, but you should try Monstra.
Actually, I know absolutely nothing about Monstra.
You see,
absolutely
you'll
nothing
be perfect
other than Smiley was into it.
You'll be a perfect test, guys. I just want you to experience the difference. I just want you to see the difference.
You know, I might give it a chance.
Yeah, their culture is a lot better.
Yeah. Just be careful you don't have the DHC
Yep.
tag, because I know that Duff made a comment today and he was rocking DHC, and Various went after him. Was like, "Are you serious?" Yes, I'm giving you a hard time, Various. Love you, buddy. But it was just comical, and that's what I love about that place is, I jump in there and chat, and I get the same answer as everybody else. Doesn't matter if you're a huge investor or a small one. And those are the communities that really stand out. Those ones that are willing to take the time to answer the question. Now, if you keep asking dumb questions like something logically in the white paper and you ask the same thing 20 times, trying to get a different answer, and somebody tells you, hey, go read the white paper. Dude, seriously. I think there's a
But at
level
least
of...
tell me to go read the white paper. That's
Right.
an answer. Don't just ghost me. You know me. I hate being ghosted.
Or
Jeez,
if you
Hassan.
read the
It's
white
see me
paper
at work.
and it's still
I mean-
confusing, and the person's like,
Right.
I read this part, but I need more
This
explanation.
doesn't make sense
Well,
to
the
me.
cults don't want you to understand how the technology works. They just want you to believe it and buy it. They don't want you to understand it. So,
Right.
so in a certain context, asking for understanding is a form of an attack and can generate a lot of hostility from a lot of people that is totally unjustified.
And I'm trying to get in like to the design side and want to learn how these apps function and everything. But the people that do this need to be able to answer the questions. I want somebody to ask me a hard
Oh, I
question.
agree.
I want somebody who's 70 years old and can't figure out my clicks to get from A to B. I want that person to say, what the hell are you doing? Make this easier. Okay, fine.
Mhm.
Where do you want to go? What would help you be easier? I want to ask that hard question, because if I don't know it's a pain point for somebody, how can I fix it?
Yeah. But
Hard
even in the
question?
case of like Bitcoin, you could enter a Bitcoin server, and if you're trying to ask the hard questions about like current implementation of the Bitcoin core and like how the nodes are going to be operating, and you share a perspective that even some of the people don't like they will eject you from that space. I've actually had friends go on the Bitcoin core forums and get themselves doxxed because they tried to propose a fix for a problem. And the people who were in Bitcoin Core were like, oh no, not only do we not want to fix that problem, but we would like to now make your life a living hell.
That's crazy.
Yes, that is
And I
something that
think it
absolutely happened.
And I think it comes down to what is their end goal. Is this, because my goal in learning design is to make it easier, because I am not a tech savvy person. I want these apps designed for people like me, or like Hope Giver, 80 years old, but she is still doing crypto. But we have to make it at her speed. We need to bring crypto to the
To her.
people, not bring the people to crypto. That is my goal of what I want to learn and be able to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Their goal is to keep crypto elite.
Right.
That's what
Yeah.
it sounds like these cults are doing. They're trying to keep it very elitist and
They want to
not
keep the status quo, basically, yeah.
right.
Because
Let's
as
keep it at the
whales,
top 2%.
yeah, as whales, they benefit when they are
Right.
the primary like manipulators and holders and supply managers of vast sums of altcoin crypto capital. That status quo very much benefits these select few tiny wealthy groups of people. And
Right.
you guys can kind of in the public space look no further than the fact that Berwick and Karl Popper LLP, both of which are major law firms, they have filed a very public lawsuit against the founder of Solana, the founders of Jupiter, the founders of Meteora, the founders of Pump Fund, and a big group of those guys, because according to the lawsuit, the allegation is that Anatoly Yakovenko, whatever his name is, he conspired with all of these groups of people to participate in the pumping and dumping of coins on pump.fund. And if all of the founders of all of these businesses are themselves responsible perhaps for a bunch of these little runs that where things like Chill Guy ran into the many billions for a few minutes. Like, there's just a lot of questions now about how all of that works, how all that unfolded.
Exactly. And, on top of that, one thing we always talk about in crypto is decentralized. And, personally, I think we really have to question that, because you start looking at Bitcoin, or you look at anything has a high market cap, anything in the top 100. How decentralized is it really? I mean, you've got BlackRock, you've got ETFs, you've got all these big financial companies who now have skin in the game. Do you think they're going to let you have the same power and control that they do? Is it really decentralized anymore? What do you guys think?
Well, crypto is, if we're not careful, this crazy crypto space is going to very much follow in the footsteps of TradFi. It's going to follow the haves and the have-nots. And the haves don't want the have-nots to ever have.
Right.
And a lot of these big projects or big communities, like the Bitcoin community and things like that, really want to keep it. We've got this. You little people, you're just fine down there. You don't need to know anything. You don't need to participate. And it's very much from what I see, and I'm pretty much an outsider. I don't really get into this much. I'm just learning. They don't want people to learn. They don't want to share their liquidity.
Well, they act like monks, right? Where they're sheltered up they're sheltered in a monastery. They pray to their big holy blockchain, or blockchain token asset. They will gatekeep the knowledge. They gatekeep the education. They'll let a select few elites and nobles into the four walls to discuss with them the nature of their sacred machinery. But generally, they actually aren't interested in spreading a lot of the knowledge, which runs contrary. Yeah, I mean, and some would say if, money is power and knowledge is power, then the two of them are interchangeable from a certain amount of, wrangling and tangling. But they are not interested in tearing down the techno-elite or the techno-elitism. They're actually very much interested in propping this up, because it is through this that they can act as better gatekeepers.
Exactly. So in a way, confusion kind of helps them. And that's what they try to spread.
So where's the transparency in that? If
Good
the
question,
blockchain
Nexus.
is about transparency and public knowledge,
Right.
what the hell?
So
this is the part where the Bitcoin Core guys, the monks over at Bitcoin Core, would say, hey, we're not running a charity here. We're trying to balance and wrangle and tangle the world's most complex financial machine that has ever been invested in the history of humankind. And they would say that their goal in trying to keep the database open source and the code open source is at least half of the battle. The other half of the battle is the actual control of what happens on the chain. And that is a give and take with Bitcoin's case between the miners and the node runners, who are two different groups of people and have two different sets of incentives to keep doing the thing that they are doing.
Exactly. So Alpha, what's your take on this, bud? You've been kind of quiet up there.
I've just been listening. There we go.
That just sounded creepy.
He's
I
lurking.
just been listening. It's a lot of it's weird. But I would definitely say that I can agree with Wild Angel that a lot of the way, all these ETFs and especially the BlackRocks of the world, and I think we've had like nine or so companies that have started stockpiling ETH, and it really takes away from that decentralized aspect that we've had for the most part, and that we've all kind of, in essence, been striving towards. Sure, we still have a lot of the decentralization because Ethereum especially has like 1 million validators, which is an insane amount of people to be validating Ethereum. But when the ETH supply keeps getting more and more centralized, it does take away from that at the end of the day, because ETH is POS, proof of stake. So it's like,
Right.
it's a very slippery slope that we're heading down. But at least on the Ethereum side, it is an unlimited token. It's always going to be able to be printed technically by validators. But yeah, the more it's controlled by a select group of people, the worse it gets for everyone else, because then they determine how things work. But I would say there's a very big doubt of that ever happening, because it will get harder and harder to accumulate ETH over time, because the price increase. And I would think that on the side of like the Ethereum Foundation, they would try to prevent that as much as possible. But it's also, we'll have to see how things go. It would be good to keep the decentralized ethos, but maybe things just have to have a lot of change to be able to keep that decentralized, that cyberpunk ethos that Ethereum has grown up on. Because
Right.
yeah,
Wild Angel's ducking out, apparently.
It's a crazy little thing.
It is, and, it's really interesting, because a lot of people are, they think it's the size of the wallets make it decentralized or not. If somebody, 30% is held by 5 people, is it really decentralized? Yeah, it might be spread across 100 million wallets or whatever. Take your pick. But if the major core is held by 10, 15 big whales, would you guys qualify that as decentralized or not?
Oh, I see. Nexus added some information. The Ethereum corporate treasuries are actually a lot more decentralized even than Bitcoin. And at that level with Bitcoin, Michael Saylor has about 30x of Bitcoin of second place in the treasury list, which is, that's very good. Because at least that means things aren't that centralized over there, even though we have like 9 treasuries that are constantly built towards that.
True. And the clients also have bigger node diversity in the Ether world than they do currently in the Bitcoin world. There's also a civil war going on over Bitcoin node clients right now with respect to whether or not they will allow basically spam transactions to be recorded and written on the blockchain. A bunch of the miners are in favor of it because they say, why not? More fees, more money for us. A bunch of the node runners are opposed to it because it means that their fairly limited hard drive space for the Bitcoin blockchain is going to fill up with a whole bunch of rented junk that they don't actually want to be broadcasting to the blockchain. So it's a big debate right there between the node runners and the miners over the security incentives versus the uses of the Bitcoin blockchain.
Okay. So now that brings about a great question. So at what point in time should you start limiting what can and cannot be put on the blockchain?
This is the part where the Bitcoin core maxis would actually say, that's up to you, bro. Like, this is a free ecosystem. This is a free internet, free place. In that context, it is up to you to decide whether you want to accept the sort of janky, spammy transactions or whether you want to reject those and try to filter them out. There's a client that's being focused on called Bitcoin Knots that seeks to prevent the spam and filter it out at the node runner level. The Bitcoin core team, they're very much interested in buffering up the miner security incentives by allowing more people to spend money on sending Bitcoin around, even if they don't personally approve of the use of that. Okay,
so let me ask, what would you qualify as a spam Bitcoin transaction? What are they categorizing that as? Is it dollar size or what?
And that's a tough question because that actually gets to the sort of philosophy of the internet itself. Like, what's a spam email? Like, Google is actually quite arbitrary about it. I mean, all sorts of official company emails get sent to your spam inbox all the time that you actually meant to, hey, I wanted that email, wanted that to be received. I know it looked like spam to the automated search bot, but I definitely wanted that email. So
all my work emails go to junk.
From the state of Idaho.
When I send them to, well, it's actually from our regulatory agency, but because we use their system to send emails.
Oh, wow.
And 9 out of 10 of them go to spam. So people are like, I didn't get that. I didn't get that penalty assessment. I didn't get that late notice. Check your junk mail.
Yeah. It's the number one response that a lot of people and companies and bureaucracies will have when they're telling people, yeah, no, we definitely sent you that thing. You probably should check your spam inbox before it deletes it in 30 days.
Or, by the way, tell it it's not junk.
Yeah, and please inform your email service that that email was not junk. That was some important stuff that you needed to know. Honestly, we are already seeing that same problem in the debate on how a Bitcoin transaction could in and of itself be spam or not spam. We're already seeing that because there are folks called rune makers and ordinals producers who build all sorts of specific types of projects using commands that Bitcoin has featured since an upgrade we would call segregated witness, which refers to a way that the transactions are broadcast to the Bitcoin nodes from a wallet. It was a new way to sort of conventionally build a Bitcoin wallet that enabled for more use cases. And that would be one of the reasons why it was popular and supported, was because it was expanding the use of Bitcoin. Now, on the other side of this update comes the sort of change of random strings of letters and numbers to Bitcoin addresses that are all starting with BC1Q or something like that. So if you ever kind of wondered why certain legacy Bitcoin supporting services will give you one address and then an alternative address that has a different conventions, this is why. It was because of the Bitcoin segregated witness update that enabled new wallet conventions to exist on the blockchain. Because of this, though, people could essentially create Bitcoin tokens and Bitcoin NFTs that were then recorded and etched to certain deposits in Bitcoin wallets. And from here, this is where we get the debate on, is an ordinal NFT spam on the Bitcoin blockchain, or is a set of runes, which are really just entries in some dude's website database that he built, and then he's recording their moves on the Bitcoin blockchain using some arcane system that Bitcoin doesn't care about. Like it's just, he's put Bitcoin into a web database that, like, okay, well, you could do that. It's sort of inefficient and slow and janky, but you can do that. It's not exactly a crime against the internet to put an NFT or mint some tokens using Bitcoin. Like, that's not against the rules. It's an open space. It's Bitcoin's open, permissionless nature. That's part of what it's supposed to be about. So in defense of those guys being accused of being scammers, spammers, all sorts of negative things, I will say that their activity generates money for miners, which theoretically should be a net positive for the Bitcoin network if right. You're interested in the long-term sustainability of it. But of course, the downside of that is also that now these people are using Bitcoin tier security to back NFTs and back weird tokens that do weird things that have, again, virtually nothing to do with Bitcoin, and their websites are built separately and are independent of Bitcoin's blockchain. Like it's just a component of the system that they're keeping, basically.
Okay. And so, I mean, we could go down the rabbit hole of this quite in depth, but at the same time, if we back out and look at the big picture of cryptocurrency in general, all of it, not just Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of these, but isn't this supposed to give the freedom to the people to do what they want and find different ways to use these financial avenues to better their lives, to better business, to better connect, to interact differently and create new things? So, I mean, it kind of seems like what it's supposed to do, whether somebody thinks it's janky or maybe they don't like it's not, in their little box of how it should be. Isn't that kind of what the internet and cryptocurrency is all about?
Yeah, and with Bitcoin, the people who make the rules on how it is and is not supposed to be used are the users, not Bitcoin Core. So in that context, as a tiny user who maybe just holds a few million Satoshis at best, a couple thousand US dollars worth, it's absolutely still possible for you to not only invest in the conversation, but shape the conversation. It isn't actually contained in the way a lot of these conversations about money really used to be the purview of smoky bankers in a corporate boardroom in a skyscraper penthouse very far away from everyone else. People who never had any experience of the working class interaction between a bank, a credit card, a job, and a lender. Like they don't understand that stuff because they are absolutely so far and away removed from any of it that they can't see the sort of perilous toxicity in continuously debasing fiat currency. So the part of the revolution that we're seeing is in essence, purely based upon Bitcoin Core's team saying this supply will never go above 21 million. Their rigidity about that simple fact, that in and of itself is what's driving a lot of the narrative play toward Bitcoin is, oh, we fixed the supply. The issuance is predictable. It's trending to zero over the next 100 years. There you go. That's Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum's principal issue is that it's different from Bitcoin. It's like Bitcoin in a lot of ways, but it's very different. There will be more or less Ethereum in the future, depending on how the people who hold Ethereum today choose to use Ethereum. If they sit around and stake it forever, there's going to be a lot more Ethereum out there. If they use it, if they spend it, if they do creative things with it, then Ethereum becomes more scarce. But it has a modularity to it. Its supply isn't rigidly fixed by a central issuance authority the way Bitcoin Core is or the Federal Reserve are. It's modular. And that means it's just different. It's not the same. It's not worse. It's not better. It's just different.
Exactly. Be different. That's okay. We like being different. And so, Alpha, what do you got to add to that? I know you were not a lot on that. What's your thoughts?
I mean, like Nexus said, it's just different because that's what it is. You know, a lot of the things are very different to each other, and difference is good. Difference shows that there's room for growth. Difference shows that we haven't cracked the code to the perfect thing yet. I know, like we always say, or at least I always see people say Ethereum is the internet computer. And yeah, I can definitely see why anyone would say that. But I don't think that Ethereum's at its final point yet. And no one that's building Ethereum, no one's that's creating EIPs, Ethereum improvement protocols. Is that the word? I can't remember. Anyway, EIPs, no one's that building these Ethereum improvements say that either. It's the people that don't understand how things work that tend to say that, but you know, ignorance is bliss, I guess. But
sometimes it is.
That there's a lot of things that work very different, and I think that's the fascinating part of where we are, especially with blockchain technology. There's constantly new things being created, and a lot of the times I will be very mean on a lot of the newer things because it's like what you're building doesn't make sense, but okay, cool, I guess. You know, we need those sorts of differences. We need new ways, new innovative ways of creating things, of building a blockchain, of doing consensus. That constantly needs to be changed. It constantly needs to be this kind of difference, this conflict of, yeah, this is how you do it, but this is how we do it. And yours might be best at this thing, but mine might be best at this thing. Or mine might not be best at anything at all. It's just a good all-around solution. But how can we improve it? The only way to improve is if there's differences in opinion, in differences in what people do, how people build, and that's the really fun part of things. You can't say one thing is better than another. You can only say that it's different to another. You know, so
exactly.
That's what I love about technology. There's always differences. It doesn't mean it's better. It's different, right. Yes.
It's unique.
If everything was the same, it would be stagnant. There would be no room for new things because if everything's the same, why keep building?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, this brings me about Wild Angels because, we have a very unique chemistry within our house. Of course, I do this full time, and I'm like neck deep in the Geekville. And there's still a lot of things I don't understand, guys. I am not an expert. I guarantee there's stuff Nexus knows, that Alpha knows, that I have no idea. And I probably have a few things on my plate that they don't have an idea. And that's okay. But Wild Angel, you and I, of course, we live together, as you guys know. And you're going through Shi-Fi right now. Now, some of the classes and stuff you've gone through, you've come home and told me about. And you and I have had some pretty, I wouldn't say heated debates, but some agree to disagree concepts.
Yeah, because it's what they're teaching, and so that's what I'm talking about. And I haven't really had the processing time yet to put those into my framework and decide this is something, I'll take this as gospel, but this one, that's not my experience, or that's not what I'm seeing. I haven't had that processing time yet. And so I come home from class, I'm all excited and, hey, I did this and this and learned this and that and everything. And so it's one of those that it asks Serenity, he'll swear by this. It takes me a long time to process tech related anything. So it's one of those, yes, we have had to agree to disagree. And I gotta say, Serenity has been great, because even when he doesn't agree with what I'm saying, and some of that, as I watch the videos again, might come back to I mistranslated and when I told him, and so he is being very respectful of that, and the fact that I am still learning this, and I get things scrambled really easy, especially when it's tech based. And so he has been very, very respectful, not to tell me that's wrong. That's not quite what I know, but let's come back to that later, kind of a thing. And so he has been like super supportive of this whole thing and letting me get excited, because this is a space that actually scares the hell out of me and makes me very angry sometimes.
Yes. And it should, on all accounts.
Where I get so overwhelmed with it that I become angry, because I don't understand. And honestly, it's not anger at anybody else. It's anger at myself, because I don't have the same level of understanding as like the rest of you guys. And I feel stupid.
No. And this is where I have to tell you, I feel bad, because it's partially an attitude and an affect of techno-elitism that will contribute to a person such as yourself feeling stupid, when in reality, these systems are complicated. You are not stupid for not immediately understanding a complicated system.
But that's one of my personal demons, is it doesn't matter what area it is. If I feel intellectually challenged and I feel stupid compared to everybody else, I take it very personally towards myself. And it tends to come out at other people, Serenity especially, because I'm like, and I'm just like, I'm done. But
time.
No, yeah, it is. It's like, whoa, time out, done. Right. We'll come back to this later. But it's one of those when I'm in a room, or in this situation in a stream with people that are so much farther than I am in this aspect. Cyril scares the hell out of me. I'm intimidated just by talking to the man when it comes to money.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like talking to my deputy director. He's an actuary. Oh my God, he makes me cry in a heartbeat.
Can imagine.
But it's one of those things that, yes, I'm very, very excited about it. Learning in Shi-Fi, and then finding Developers Academy that is at my pace, not at somebody who knows what the hell they're doing's pace.
Right.
Because for me, it has to be like these little itty bitty baby steps in order, and I have to redo it 20 million times before I'm ready to take the next one. And that's the same place I am with crypto. I was trying to do the claiming for our Neo miners. And it's like, no, I had to write click by click by click. Otherwise, I didn't feel capable of doing it. But then when I went back and used my notes to do it the next time, I only had to go get Serenity for a couple of things. And one of those wasn't even crypto, it was Google.
Yeah, it was. And, and that's one thing that I really want to point out here, especially because we're getting close to the time, guys, but why this topic's so important, because we're moving into this next phase of DeFi. This is when the hype is going to come in. All the new investors are going to show up. They're not going to have a clue. They aren't going to know what's going on. They're going to be going in these communities. They're going to say, hey, I saw this guy on YouTube, and the guy sounded like he was smart as hell. He knew what he was doing. I got 10 grand to drop in, and we're going to be the ones going, don't do that. That is just stupid. And it's very challenging. And so, Wild Angel, I always try to gauge myself off you personally.
I know.
To make sure that I stay humble enough to say, okay, let me help you with this. Let me explain what I know. Share with me what you know, and let's find a common ground. And maybe we agree to disagree. And that's okay. But if you're in a community or you're following a content creator or a streamer or somebody on X or whatever, and they don't have that mentality, they don't have that willingness to take a step back, pause, slow their roll, and either let you catch up or look at a different perspective, then there is seriously a problem. It's time to seriously evaluate, is that somebody you need to be listening to or watching from? Because, we're going to get a lot of new faces. So, out of all of us, I would say I'm more understanding because I do live with Wild Angel and live that every day. But now, Nexus, I'm kind of curious, in real short version, now you are a very educated individual. Your vocabulary makes me look like a blithering idiot, and that's on a good day. But, honestly, you have never made me feel stupid. There's some things I'm like, I have no idea what the hell you just said. I got to go look that up. So I got to give you kudos, man. But I'm curious, do you find it challenging to take these brand new people in crypto that have very small investments? They lost $20 or something like that in their wallet, and they're like, man, I don't know what happened. It's just gone. And they come to you for help. How do you deal with that?
One case at a time, one step at a time, and it's all relative. You see, here in the West, in the developed world, when a guy tells you he lost $20, it probably sounds like he bought a bad pizza, or he went out for food and drinks, and it was a bad meal. But in a country like, for example, Iran, $1 US dollar has the fiat purchase power of the way we feel about one Bitcoin to $1. So when you realize that kind of a purchase disparity actually exists, that if I wanted to take $1 and foreign exchange it on the streets of the Iranian capital, that would be worth over 100,000 units of their foreign currency to me, foreign. Like, that's crazy. And that's not just true of Iran.
For the individual.
Yeah, exactly. You have to scale it for each individual, and then you have to factor in where they're from. And it's very yeah. Go for it, Angel.
You also have to take into account that a lot of the people we are talking to, $20 is maybe their last of their cash for the month. Even in the US, people that are trying to get into this. So you have $20 to, to Trump, it's like pennies. He didn't care.
He scrapes it off his heel.
Right.
$20 to me is like, okay, that's dinner for my family for a night. If I'm making everything, from scratch, so it's cheaper. It's, a cheap bag of cat food for the month. That's when you gotta, no bucks in certain countries, especially in a week. So like where Alpha lives, I'm sure, because Alpha, I think you said you have about $400 a month or less, or was that Braden?
Yeah, three. I can live with like $300 a month.
Right.
Yeah.
So
A
but
custom
20
limit is
bucks,
low.
like to you, is even more scarce than 20 bucks is to me.
Yeah. 20 bucks to me
and
is like that.
Not
But
a little bag of cat food, a big bag of cat food.
20
So
bucks
not
is
a
like
little bag.
four nights of food here.
Right. So, I mean, when you scale it to that, when people say, "Oh, I lost 20 bucks," I mean, you got to look at who you're talking to,
Right.
and also where they live, because it's scary.
You know, that's one thing that we see a lot in these crypto projects. We see a lot of these, especially once DeFi hits, NFTs for 500 or 1,000 or 5,000. That's the entry point. If you don't have that, you can't play. And so, for a lot of us, that's just unrealistic. And I worry about those kind of projects and people taking their life savings and their investments. Like, man, this sounded really good. I saw this content creator. He talked about this. I got in the Discord. They seemed really cool. They were just throwing all these numbers out. It sounded great. Well, if I take my 401k and I cash it out, I can invest in this. So Alpha, if you're running a moderator and somebody's planning on doing this, whether it's Monsters or whatever that you're planning, and they say, hey, I'm going to take my life savings or my savings account that I've been saving up for 20 years and invest, what would you tell them as a moderator, bud?
I would tell them, don't just do that. We need to first have a conversation about where you are financially, determine whether or not it's a good idea for you, and whether or not you're willing to actually live with the risk of what you're going to be doing, because you can't just go ahead and do that. I'd probably be like, look, I get that I can't stop you, I can't make up your mind, but let us first run through everything about what this decision entails. Let us first understand exactly what you are doing, why you are doing it, and then you determine, okay, do I do it now or not? Because I can't determine I can't make up your mind for you, but I can at least be that voice of reason that's like, I get what you want to do, but there's a big but. Why do you want to do it? And are you sure this is a good idea? Because things can change anytime, As even in Monstra, technically it's one of the safest bets, but things can change very quickly. So you can't just go ahead and throw all your money at it. I know we made a joke Monday where Various sold his house and he moved over to another country. So we was like, yeah, I see you. You completely DJ and sold your house to throw it into Monstra. He didn't do that, but it's a good play on that whole DJ thing, because that's an insane thing to do. You kind of really have to think about it and consider, is this actually a good idea? What the hell am I getting myself into?
Exactly. So now, of course, Alpha, I'm throwing you under the bus because you're fun to pick on, for one, but two, because I want to know the honest answer. And you're one of those guys that you'll just tell me what it is, whether I like it or not. And I respect that. I wish more people would be that way. Now, of course, if you're a moderator, you're getting paid to answer questions and hopefully to drive the token, because you're probably somewhat invested in that project, aren't you? I mean, are you invested in all the projects you moderate? So aren't you shooting yourself in the... Okay, so aren't you shooting yourself in the foot by almost talking somebody out of investing? Isn't that counterproductive, bud? Why would you do that?
Technically, it is counterproductive, but the reputational damage means more to me, honestly. The monetary loss doesn't impact me that much. At the end of the day, $10,000 isn't going to be a huge amount in 5 months when we have 100 people joining and they throw in tens of thousands of dollars, because they understand that our reputation is, we're not going to lie to you. We're not going to try to get you to invest as much as possible, as quick as possible. We're going to give you the facts as it are. We're going to be real. We're going to be like, okay, I get that you want to do this, but let us first talk. You try to talk you out of it, because that's an insane decision. Or at least if after we try to talk you out of it and you're like, yeah, but this actually sounds good, then I mean, clearly we're doing something right. So honestly, to me, at that point, the reputational damage is more important, because now I try to talk you into it and something goes wrong. We lose that reputation completely. I lose that reputation. You lose something that I've worked towards for all 3 years that I've been in crypto, and it's just gone like that because I told someone, oh no, do it, it's a smart decision, and they go tell everyone, yeah, no, don't listen to that guy's an idiot, he told me to lose all my money. Or they go and they go say, yeah, no, Monstra, don't ever touch that, because the people there are just going to try to convince you to spend all your money on it, and they won't tell you about the after effects or what could go wrong.
That's right.
not worth it.
That's
It's really
right.
not worth it.
And imagine being a maximalist who's in a particular type of group whose job is to max extract, no matter what the currency is, for and your bags. Now, in that context, if that guy is a Bitcoin maximalist, his job is to fill up his Bitcoin bags as high as it can possibly go, and there are going to be a variety of ways he does that. One of the most common is that they just sit on social media telling everyone all day, every day, to just spend every bit of free money they have, getting as big a bag of Bitcoin for themselves as they possibly can. Now, the irony is that there are no financial orientated communications who are invested in a digital asset. That is unpaved highway. All right. That's what makes all of this novel. If I was a Bloomberg reporter and I was talking about stocks and bonds and interest rates, I'm actually not allowed to own any of the stocks or the bonds or the treasuries that I'm writing about. I'm sure everyone here can imagine why that is, that I'm not allowed to own the things that I am writing about. Well, with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, with all of this digital stuff, it's almost the opposite. I can't write about it unless I've owned it. Because if I don't, I write from a place of complete naivete, complete ignorance. I just don't know what I'm writing about. There's no way for me to understand it unless I use it, which is what changes the game around here. This is where it gets intense.
Yeah, that's all like insider trading kind of information when those like Bloomberg writers and why they aren't allowed to be
Precisely
involved in anything they write about, because you don't want them spilling alpha information. You don't want them skewing anything. And so, yeah, that's all SEC crap. You don't want to
that
mess
gets
with
scary.
them.
And sorry, I wasn't responding to yours because I was typing, and apparently I have a beef with Crypto Micros. I have no idea. Not a clue. So, yeah, Cap Crypto, not a clue, but I'll have to go look at the video and figure it out because I have no idea what you're talking about, buddy. But I'll dig into that after the stream. So I don't know. We'll get to that. So this brings about one of the last questions here, because of course we're over time as always. We're always over time, but hey, that's okay. It's Friday night. We're having fun. You know, one thing I pride myself is making sure that before I talk about anything, I actually have skin in the game. Not that it was given to me, and I will never take a token as a payment. And if it's ever a paid promotion, I make sure to say it's a paid promotion. You know, this is a sponsored video, straight up. That's one of the things I have in my contract, and with that, I also get to say whatever the hell I want to. If I think it's crap, I get to say it's crap, and you get to pay me for it. Hey, fine. I get paid in USDC. Life is good. Stablecoin doesn't hurt a person. But those are things in my contract. But a lot of content creators don't operate that way. They have a big bagger. They're paid in that native token. So this brings about that whole question is, should a content creator or social individual or moderate, things like that, actually be paid in the native token, as well as should they actually own it if they're talking about it? What are your guys' opinions?
This is a complex question, mostly because in decentralized autonomous organizations, they may not actually get much of a choice in this matter. If they want to work for the DAO and the DAO pays them from the DAO treasury, then the way this tends to work is that a proposal circulates through a decentralized autonomous organization to pay X person for Y job over Z amount of time. And the payment that the DAO workers tend to accept most of all is native DAO tokens, which increase their investment in the DAO. That's very common practice.
It is. So what do you think, Alpha? Do you think you should be paid in the native token for that blockchain, or should it be something separate? Or, you know, as a moderator, how, if you don't mind me asking, you can tell me it's none of my business. That's totally cool. Do you typically get paid in that native token, or is it something separate so that you're not using the investors as exit liquidity?
I usually opt for a stable coin, so USDC or USDT. With Monstra again, I usually take payment in NFTs because, I mean, for me, that just works out better because I keep adding on. But if the choice is there, I'm always going to want to be paid in stables because that just makes sense. I'm not dumping on the people that's invested. That just doesn't sit right with me. Like, I don't want to be getting paid, I don't know, like $500, and then I have to go sell that 500 to get it out, and then I'm dumping that on the people, and the chart just looks bad because I was like, oh yeah, I need money now, I can't just keep this token for 10 years. I'm not about to diamond hand for work done. That just it doesn't make sense, at least to me. Like, it really doesn't make sense, because if you're getting paid in a token, you have to sell that token to be able to use that funds, unless you're not going to use it. But then what's the point of doing that work if you're not going to use the funds you're going to get? It's like you have to essentially, you have to turn it into actual money. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. But I mean, if there is the caveat
CZ over at Binance, CZ over at Binance makes his employees hold his BNB tokens he pays them. They're not allowed to sell. So yeah.
So
okay,
how are
there's
they
the caveat
actually
that
getting
let's say.
paid?
I think they have to collateralize their token.
Oh,
I'm not sure what that means.
Means you take a stock or a crypto and you put it up for a loan. So they essentially have to pawn their crypto in order to really realize its value, because they're not allowed to sell it. It's in their contract.
That's
Damn.
crazy.
that is crazy.
Because how are you
Okay,
supposed
I mean,
to pay bills?
If I can do that, I would be down for that. So basically, you use your crypto, you put it up as basically like, okay, this is my, like when you want to take out a loan, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to put this up, I'm going to take the loan. You like, this is my, what's that word that they use? The collateral. There we go. So you put up your tokens as the collateral, and you're like, okay, now I have money to use, but you still have your tokens technically.
Yes.
As long as you pay your loan back.
Now, to Binance's credit, they may have changed that policy since CZ got, the hit with an SEC money laundering lawsuit and all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah. But that could be. Last time I checked, that was still a policy, though.
Okay.
I suppose if people can start selling now, they would be getting a lot more money, because BNB is like $800 a piece.
Oh, yeah, BNB's up big. And that's part of the reason why the employees are told, like, yo, you're not supposed to sell. You need to hold this, because if you hold your supply, then it's going to go up a lot, and then you'll make more money than you otherwise would if we were paying you in cash and you were just spending it on your expense. Corporate rationale for doing it, but it's still not very nice to make your employees go through.
No, not at all.
And I think that's also a thing, when you get paid in the tokens, you kind of feel obligated to hold it, because you don't want to dump it on the people that's invested, but you also kind of like, I need to pay my bills.
Right.
Exactly. You got to do it one way or another. So I'm really kind of curious. So Wild Angel, now of course, you're not neck deep in all this, but you get to watch these videos, and sometimes I share different ones that inspired me or whatever, and share with you. What really stands out to you, as far as whether it's on X or Facebook or social channel or YouTube or whatever, what are you looking for to get your information from? What type of person or type of delivery?
First of all, I want somebody who has integrity. I want somebody who's actually going to tell me, yeah, they're paying me to do this video. I want somebody who isn't just giving me the marketing pitch deck. I don't want the pitch deck. When I'm talking, if I get a chance, like a couple of your AMAs, I popped on, I said, okay, give me your 60-second pitch. Why should I buy this? Why should I buy in? That just gives me their short, sweet, to the point. But I want them to answer my questions. If I send them a comment and ask a question, Randy, I gotta say, you meet all of what I look for because you answer your questions when people give you comments. You only promote things that you have invested in. And you yourself, because if you're putting it out there, you're at risk just like anybody else.
Right.
And
Frequently.
so if you have talked about projects and they've gone down, you've lost too.
Oh, yeah.
I have watched you do that. We have burned bad on some of those. And also there's the information you have that they're giving you at the time.
Right.
Is not always like it plays out, like Rainmaker. The information we had to start with is not how it ended. So, you know, I take everything with a grain of salt. And thanks to you, I have learned, do my own freaking research. Don't trust Serenity. Don't trust Crypto Sensei. Don't trust anybody. Do your own freaking research. Because then if something goes wrong, you only have yourself to blame. For
Sensei. Oh, God love him.
And like,
shared a fake tweet about
I love
Ripple today.
Sensei. Like Alpha was
Sensei's awesome.
saying, you know, about when you asked him about, you know, if somebody says, I want to come in and drop all this, and cautioning them not to do that. One of my first thing is hey, before you do any of that, watch the first 5 episodes of Rags to Riches. Because that's the absolute core, those first few. That's the absolute core. And of course, it's expanded on the rest of the season. But do your own research. DCA. Never do everything that one person says. Don't drop all your money at one time, because you will never, ever, ever truly buy the bottom or sell the top. It's not humanly possible.
Exactly.
But Serenity, these are all things you tell people.
That's right.
I've watched a lot of these videos. They don't say this is not financial advice. They're saying you should do this. Here, I'm talking about this, so you need to get into this. Bullshit.
Even if they do say not financial advice, they still say you should do it. Buy it. Buy
Right,
it.
they do. But
You're-
they really need more of them need to say this is not financial advice. And say, you know, just because I'm doing this doesn't mean you need to. You know,
Well, if you look at the if you look at the content of these like sponsorship agreements, a lot of them are quite explicit. They don't want you to disclose that you are being paid. You're actually not allowed in a couple of them to say that you are being paid, which undercuts the message a little bit, doesn't it? Because as
very
a
much so.
content creator, I should be allowed to publicly disclose X company is paying
Right.
me Y money for Z service. I should be able to say that.
Well,
you
there's
should be
also
required
one
to
of-
say that, in my opinion.
Right. One of the other things I look for is somebody telling me something bad about the company, as right along with the good. Because I don't want all the pitch deck. I want somebody to tell me, you know, there's been some turnover in the dev team, so we're kind of watching this. Or, you know, I'm cautiously investing in this. Or give me a reason to know that it's not just the pitch deck and that somebody's not just aping in.
The dev is cracked. He's the greatest to ever do it. Mortgage your house. We're going to the moon. Game is over already. Just buy.
Sell it all. We're good.
Right. But you see what, those are the things
Right.
I look for.
Okay.
I look for the goods and the bads, and I look for integrity, not just a shill.
Okay. And that was kind of curious because you're not nearly as neck deep in the stuff as the rest of us are here. So I like to get an outside perspective. And everybody in the chat, please share what it is, the qualities that actually stand out for a content creator or a streamer or anybody in the Discord, a moderator. What makes them stand out to you as being legitimate, as somebody you can believe in, or what doesn't? You know, share your thoughts and your experiences. Love to hear them. So, guys, we are just about out of time here, unfortunately. Now, Alpha Cruise, being a moderator, want you to share a piece of wisdom that people need to be looking out for when they're going in and they're interacting with moderators. What are the warning signs they should be watching for when they jump in these Discords or these X spaces?
If they come across as if they know better and they kind of, and then you'll probably be able to see it very easily, but sometimes you have these moderators that they're very condescending. If you see that, generally a good idea to stay away, because the moderators are generally the face of the project, and if they are condescending, that just reflects on the whole project as a whole. That's from what I've experienced. That tends to be fairly accurate. Often when I've joined a project or a Discord or whatever, and the moderators are condescending, yeah, the rest of the team are even worse. So I tend to stay away from those completely, because at the end of the day, usually those projects end up being some sort of rug or something at the end of the day, because it just reflects people. Your front-facing people are usually a good reflection of what's going on at the back.
Well said.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. Make sure to note that down. So, Nexus, what about you, buddy? What piece of wisdom do you got to share that people need to watch out for going into this next DeFi season that's coming up?
The number one thing I can always say is that the best thing you can do is understand what it is you are buying. Do the best you can within the breadth and scope of your own knowledge to understand what it is you are buying. And if it is a security or a yield-bearing product, then the number one job you have as a purchaser is asking yourself, do I understand where my yield is going to come from? And if your answer to that question is no, I have no idea, it doesn't make sense to me, then you should not be buying the thing. You shouldn't be buying it, whatever it is. It could be Ether, could be Bitcoin. I don't care. You shouldn't be buying it.
Well said. And yeah, too many empty promises run out there, and that's the biggest one. They say, oh, we're going to get money from here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I see DPIN projects all the time pop up. Oh, yeah, we've got this DPIN project does this and this and this. And, well, great. How are you making revenue? Where's it coming from? We're working on that. We're going to sell it once we get it all done. That didn't do us any good now, does it? So, yeah, great advice, Nexus. And, as a content creator, guys, I got to say that the biggest thing is no matter what we say, I come out here and I do videos and I'm excited about them. So that excitement goes out there. But it is not a shill. Not meant to be. It's something that I'm excited about, that I'm doing and I'm sharing with you on my journey. So please never ever say what I say or what anybody says as gospel. Because the fact is, I don't have a freaking clue. It could crash tomorrow. I'm not the founder. I'm not on the team. I don't know. I can only share my experiences, my knowledge, and what I've gotten so far. But even that could change, because as we saw, just like with Rainmaker, Alpha Cruz pointed out earlier, yeah, man, I've been stoked for 6 months. I'm like, look, $2,000. And TG comes around and look, $110. Wow. And I got to wait 4 months to get it. Yeah, this is great. We don't know. We are not superhuman. We spend a little more time researching than most people. Hopefully, your content creator, your source of information is doing that. But we're just human, and we screw up just as much, if not more so, because we're in it all the time, so we tend to make more mistakes. You can ask Wild Angel. I screw up a lot. I lose a lot of money, and I'm like, wow, that was dumb. So please, don't take what anybody says as gospel, because the truth is nobody really knows. I see everybody reading the chat.
Even the Bitcoin Core founders. No. Not even Vitalik Buterin knows.
Nope. Not a clue. Not a clue. So, guys, that does wrap us up for tonight. Any pieces of wisdom you guys want to leave us off with before we send it off for the night?
Be careful. Watch who you're talking to. Do your own research. And you watch out for those cults. I mean, get with those communities that are welcoming to new people, that want to answer your questions. Not the ones that will ban you for asking a hard question. And ask those hard questions. Ask them to explain.
Definitely ask.
So
absolutely. And so we do have one question in the chat that saying don't ignore my question. So scroll great question. Have you ever been paid to promote a project? No. I've been paid to cover a project. I've been paid to do deep dives into projects. Never to promote. Because that's one thing in my contract that they sign every time. I will say whatever I believe. It's not promotion.
And as an investigative journalist, I would ask you a follow-up question, Mr. Serenity. Have you ever been paid in these promotions to, for example, boost a project or never say anything negative?
No, not even close. Because I couldn't.
Me either.
I can always find a problem. And I always throw warnings out there. And I always say the same thing. Never listen to me, never listen to anybody else. Do your own research and decide for yourself.
Okay, we'll check it out, Cap. I appreciate that. We'll take a look, and if there's something that needs to be addressed, we will address it.
Absolutely. And so thanks for letting me know. And yeah, shoot me a DM in Discord or throw it in the Down Home Crypto Discord. I'd love to dig into it because I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I just keep seeing the chat go by. I'm like, what? And I got to be honest with you, a lot of times we get people coming in the chat and just throwing things up there just to try and cause drama. So sometimes I ignore it, and I kind of let the moderators and different people on the back end kind of keep an eye out for it. But if there's something legit, please reach out to me. I would love to face the questions or whatever's going on because I have no idea, buddy. So everybody out there,
AMAs and all that kind of stuff. But to actually just pure promote to shill, no, never.
No. Nope. I've done videos where I was excited about something. I remember 100 Days. I was super excited for that one. And man, we got wrecked on that one.
Oh boy,
people
did we
got
get
wrecked on that one. I was at ground zero when that stuff was unpacking.
It wasn't pretty. And so, I've done a lot of stupid things. I've done a lot of videos, but never direct promotions. I've just shared my excitement. Now, if some people say that's a promotion, well, hey, that's your perception. And you're okay with that. It's biggest thing is just make sure that the people you're learning from are being honest with you. If they're excited about it, hey, cool. Understand that is their genuine excitement, not promotion. If somebody's just out there promoting, that's something different. Keep an eye out for that. So, love you all. Have a great weekend. Stay safe out there because things are just going to get crazier. And we'll catch you next Friday. Have a great weekend, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I've walked through the fire, chased every shadow from